So this is the new playground near the three big houses by Simon MacDonald. Scene 1. Lights up slowly, suggesting dawn on prone figures of Naomi and Scott. They are sleeping. Scott, restless, wakes, sits up, and if remembering something, gets up and exits. Naomi rolls over, searches for Scott. On realizing that he's not there, she wakes quickly and sits up. She pulls her phone and thumbs a number.
He's gone. Again. I know. Look, Mum, there's really no point going over this again, huh? Yeah, not helping, to be honest. Hello? Hello? Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck! Fuck you, stop!
The shadow crowd pile on, filling the stage, shoving, pushing, and chanting. Fuck you, Scott! Fuck you!
Scott! Fuck you!
Naomi is swallowed up by them and disappears from view, pushed to the back. One of the shadow crowd takes on the role as fan TV interlocutor with mic and much mugging to camera.
The madness of the crowd, eh? Eh, people? Madness of the crowds. Extraordinarily.
Extraordinary.
So, who's got something to say?
The noise from the shadow crowd intensifies. They push forward.
Me, I've got something to say. Fuck you, Scott!
Yay!
Muzzy here, right? Remember me, Scott? Message for you, rude boy. You can fuck the fuck off, right? You don't belong no more. You had a chance and then you spaffed it, didn't you? Eh?
A chance? What's that?
He had a chance to come back, make good. Provident son and all that, but he didn't. And now he can fuck right off, can't he?
Yay! So, Scott, the prodigal son, if you're watching, and why wouldn't you be? Not like you've got lots on, no place to be, no people to see, eh? You appear to have missed your chance to come home. No one wants you. Extraordinary, eh?
As if on cue, shadow crowd takes the chant as the interlocutor continues to camera.
There you have it. The people have spoken. Scott is out. The only warm welcome he'll get here is on top of the bonfire. Eh? Eh? Oi, what the fuck?
Naomi, having forced herself to the front, grabs the mic and talks directly to camera.
Scott, don't listen to this. Don't listen to this. If you can hear me, see me, look at me and listen. Come back. Come home. Come back to me. We'll work this out. Just come back.
The shadow crowd surges forward. Naomi is jostled, the mic ripped from her hands. She's picked up and crowd surfed to the back of the mob before disappearing into the darkness. The shadow crowd continue to chant. The interlocutor tries to restore some kind of order.
Okay. More to come from this lot soon. Well, we'll be back after these messages. Don't forget to follow Fan TV on your MyFace, big speakers, Facebook or Twitter for all you sedders out there, and at me on the Trotooth on Sinister back in 10.
Lights begin to fade. The shadow crowd begins to disperse, still shouting, chanting, and marching off, gradually becoming quieter and fading to nothing as they exit. Naomi is left alone and emerges from the void left behind. Scott enters with Frankie. She looks concerned but also impatient.
Scott! Oh, thank God. Are you okay?
He's fine, love, but this has got to stop. He was in my kitchen again, just sitting there watching TV, but he scared the shit out of my dad, and the birds have never heard such a racket. I don't know how he keeps getting in the house, but it's got to stop, okay?
Oh, God, I'm so sorry, Frankie. Let me have him. I'll get him back to ours, back to bed. So sorry. I don't know. I just don't know. Is your dad okay?
Yeah, he's fine, but he's just up a lot more in the nights now, thinking he's back fighting for Queen and country, back with the Shindits. He's still got his gun, won't let me have it, keeps walking around with it. This needs to stop, or something bad will happen.
Yeah, of course. I just don't know how he keeps managing to break in.
Me neither. He was always round back in the day when him and Linda were, well, back then, but she's been gone for years. I just don't.
Still got a key, ain't I?
Feet, he gags and then pulls the key from his mouth, holding it out towards Frankie and Naomi. They both recoil. Scott wipes the key on his front and holds it up. Frankie steps forward and gingerly takes the key.
Thanks.
How many is that now? 4? 5?
12, love. That's 12 keys he's had. Can you check his pockets when you get him home? Properly check them.
Yeah, sure. And I'm sorry, I really am.
And don't take this the wrong way, but I really don't want to see him or you ever again. Do you understand? Do you get me?
Understood.
Frankie, do you remember me, Frankie?
Frankie exits. Naomi looks into Scott's face, into his eyes. Light fades to blackout. Lights up, a faint glow. Both Naomi and Scott lie asleep as the previous scene. Sound FX increasing in volume of train wheels, brakes screeching on rails until reaching a crescendo. Sound cuts as Scott wakes up screaming.
No, Nico, no!
Naomi jumps up.
Fuck, Scott! What the actual fuck?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So,
Stop, Scott. Just stop. Can you? I can't do this anymore. I can't do it.
I thought it was the train that Nico.
What?
I was sure before I thought it was the knife or even the gun.
It's never the gun. Never.
True. Always a knife. The knife. But it was me. I did it. I don't know how yet, but I did it. I killed Nico.
Scott. This is crazy. Scott, this is crazy. You found him. You called the police. You were in pieces. It can't have been you.
I found him.
Yeah, you did.
You enter the interlocutor leading the shadow crowd. They head straight for Scott and pull him to the front to face the camera. They shan't and bay.
And we're back. Cleanse those timelines. Deep pour. So, Scott, you found the body. Tell us how that felt. What did you do?
What did you do?
What did you do?
You do.
Scott.
You didn't run away.
Cat calls from the shadow crowd.
Well, Scott, there's a whole lot of dead air right now. Say something or I'll make it up. You've been warned.
His warning was spoken like the first warning. La 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 la.
I stared at him.
You stared at it. Stared at it? What for? Were you trying to raise him from the dead? Did you have a little chat while you were at it too?
Oh.
Did you poke it with a stick? Throw stones at it?
I.
Scott slowly draws a gun from his waistband. It's as if he's surprised to find it there. The shadow crowd falls silent and backs away. The interlocutor tries to fold into the throng out of the line of fire. Naomi steps forward towards Scott.
It's never the gun, Scott, remember? It's never the gun. Give it to me. Frankie's dad will be worried sick about it. He put it back all the way from Burma, remember? He'll be missing it. We need to give it back. Here. Give it to me.
Myanmar.
What?
It's called Myanmar now. Burma.
There's a murmur from the shadow crowd. The interlocutor holds their hands up for quiet and listens to a message through the earpiece. Pause. The interlocutor nods their head vigorously.
He's correct. Give him his due. When he's right, he's right. Burma is now called Myanmar. Proceed.
Right. Look. It was called Burma then, right? When Frankie's dad was there. And that's the most important thing. Give me the gun.
Scott hands the gun over to Naomi. She hands it back to the shadow crowd. It disappears.
I took it home. The body. I took him home. His name was...
Nico. Oh no.
The shadow crowd begins to whisper, chant, Nico, Nico, Nico.
And what happened next?
The knife. The knife was next to him. I picked it up. Took it with him. Took it home. I was sick everywhere. So sick. And I cried until I couldn't make tears. I need to show you. Show you all what happened.
All right. Do it. Show us.
I will. I'll show you all.
His name was Nico. He was a dead guy. And no one knows how he came to be dead. But we know Scott knows.
Scott knows.
But he's a
He's a loser.
La, 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 la.
I took him home.
What for? To stay?
It was hot. The summer. The football was on. Everywhere. Everyone watching it. Even Mum. Everyone. No one was watching me.
There he goes with his eye out.
Did your mother know you're out?
Who are you? Who are you?
Turn about and wheel about.
Flare up.
Flare up.
The shadow crowd shouts, increased intensity, volume, and speed.
So he stayed then? With you?
Lights down slowly. Naomi joins the shadow crowd, which drifts away except for Magic. He is thumbing a text message. Rinty, Muzzy, and Will, all of whom occupy the darkness around the wings. Pause, lights almost black out. Scott's phone receives a text message. He pulls it out and the screen light illuminates his face as he reads as the lights finally die. Blackout. Scene 3.
Magic? Magic? What the fuck does Magic want with me? All right then. I'm here. You called. Don't know how you got my number, but okay then. Here I am. Magic! Oi, Magic, I'm here. Show yourself.
There are yells and shouts, the sound of feet, glass smashing, whoops of laughter, rumbling, brooding noise, then lights up fast. Scott is pinned and surrounded by Rinty holding a samurai sword to his temple. Muzzy is holding a knife to his throat and Will holding a gun to his crotch. Magic plays hopscotch in front of them. He continues to play through the next few lines of dialogue.
For yourself? Show yourself, you say? Nah, we'll show you. Let's give him the tour. Been a while, hasn't it, Scott? Can I call you Scott?
You can go fuck your...
Rinty threatens Scott further with the sword, as does Muzzy with the knife and Will with the gun. Scott shuts up.
What do you mean, a tour? Of what?
When's the last time you were here, Scott? Good few years, I expect. A good few years. And you know the old saying, you can take the boy out of the estate, but you
can't take
can't
the
take
piss.
the piss. Precisely. Show him.
Magic points out to the stage left. Scott's captors turn his head to look in the direction indicated.
The new playground. Home to dreams and play. Fun. And all who say this is my castle, my kingdom, mine. Has it changed much? Better now? Worse? Or just the same? Show him.
Magic points out stage right. Scott's head is turned in that direction. I think we're
On page 11.
we're on page 10. The next one's page 10. Yeah.
All right.
3 big houses. Right to buy, right? Or wrong. Homes for pissed off mums and pissed up dads. But at least we're all rich now, right?
Right. My mum and dad bought.
Wrong. You can't keep selling everything, Scott. There won't be anything left for the rest of us if you do that. Nothing for Rinty or Muzzy or me.
You've never bought anything in your life. Always taken whatever you wanted.
True, but a taker can change. A buyer, an owner, never.
This is bullshit. I don't know what you want, but I know what you can give me.
What's that then, Scott? What, after all these years, after all this time, can I possibly give you?
Where's Linda?
Pause. They begin to loosen their grip on Scott and look to Magic for guidance. They are nervous.
I said, where's Linda?
I heard you. Where have you looked?
Everywhere.
Okay, that's the end of page 10.
Hmm.
So I'm going to start because my head's hurting. First of all, I think this is theatre. If it is, why then does it say direct to camera or they're standing looking at camera on page 7? So that needs clearing up. If it is a screenplay rather than theatre, it's in the wrong format. But I think this is meant to be theatre. I don't know. You'll probably be able to tell me. If it is, it's usual to include your set list, I know, at the beginning, so that we know who the characters are. We've got no information about any of these characters. We don't know their ages. We don't know. We've got nothing to go on them. Also, some of these characters jump out of the shadow crowd. It would be usual, I would imagine, in theatre to identify them, as it is in screenplays, to say these are the characters that are also on stage with the shadow crowd. Also, the dialogue really doesn't need to be separated out into separate lines for the same character all the way down a page. If it's continuous dialogue, even with beats, it's just one character name and just carry on and let the actors interpret it. What else did I make notes on? Shadow crowd. How old are the... and the other thing that just jumped out at me, on page 10, you've got Scott shuts up, but then he speaks immediately afterwards. Other than that, I'm not sure what this is about. I have no idea what is going on. So, but I've had a migraine, so maybe I've got brain freeze. Emma.
Hello. I think I've got brain freeze for no particular reason, actually. Yeah, I mean, I assumed it was a theatre script. I think just something about the way that people are being used as the shadow crowd that made me think it's probably theatre. But I mean, as you're saying about the formatting, theatre is, as those of us who do it, have done it, whatever, no, there's no absolutely strict rule about how to lay it all out. But what we do like, what is really helpful for directors, for actors, for anybody working with a script is clarity, readability, and it really is quite helpful to have the line on the same line as the character's name with a space after it, whether you use a colon to sort of separate it out, whether you do it in capitals or in bold or whatever, but just have it on the same line, because it's just slightly confusingly messy at the moment. So have a look at some plays and see how they're formatted and see which ones you think are clear and easy to read, I would suggest. Yeah, we don't know where we are. We don't know where we are in time. We don't know where we are in terms of like the world or a new world or whatever. And we don't know whether we're in a room that's their bedroom and then we stay in their bedroom or we go somewhere else. So just be nice, helpful for people working on it, designers, anybody, to know what's going on. Yeah, trust your actors. I've always been told to write as if you're going to be working, your play is going to be cast with really good actors. And then if they're not really good, you can have a quiet word with the director and say, you know, can we look at that? Don't talk to them obviously directly, but yeah, as Andrew said, don't need all those beats, because trust an actor to know that, you know, if they're one half of a telephone conversation, they're going to be hearing what's said, you know, and giving time for that. What else is there? There's a point when it says page 3, she looks concerned. Who is that? Is that Naomi? Is it Frankie? Is Frankie a woman or a man? I mean, you know, I just don't really know who Frankie is, so whether that's who it is that's supposed to be looking concerned. Not all the dialogue feels natural to me, and I know that you're sort of cutting into it, and you know, sort of there's an attempt to sort of bash it up so it's not perfect and it sounds more spoken, which is nice always to have that, you know, the characters interrupting each other, characters interrupting themselves, as happens. But so I still think you could probably go through and sort of, you know, not quite like this, but sort of almost like cut out, you know, 1 word in 3 or something. You can probably say a lot less and say more that way. I think my favorite bit actually is the stuff at the bottom of page 5 about the knife and the gun, and it's sort of like, it's never, whatever it is, it's never the gun, Scott, it's always the knife, or the other way around. And there was just something about that was interesting, like it's you know, whether it's just a recurring dream or something that he's having to live through repeatedly, is interesting to me, you know. And that was kind of like, oh, I like that line, I like those bits around there. But a lot of it is just a little bit wordy, and I just wonder whether you could find a way of sharpening that. Have a play with how much you can get rid of, and trust your actors to use the silences well. Will things become clear later about you know, who these characters are that step out of the crowd and what's going on? I was once told that a playwright is somebody who gives actors something to do, and at the moment I'm not really sure what people are doing on stage, either in terms of actioning, so things they want from each other, or physically bits of business. It feels a little bit like they're standing around like a Greek chorus, and I'm not quite sure yet why that is happening. I would just say with the speech and with the scenes as well, you know, arrive late and leave early, you know, just don't feel that you need to kind of completely start things and finish things. Let the audience do some work as well as your actors and director. What else? Sorry, I'm going on. I know the Churchillian slashes, you know, at the end when you've got like somebody cuts in on somebody else. I just think that maybe just have a look at how they're used in somebody like Carol Churchill, who I think was the first one to use them. And they're only really used if somebody cuts in, character B cuts in during character A's speech and character A goes on. Otherwise, you don't need them at the end and the beginning, because it's just a dash, it's just an interruption. Sorry, I'm nearly gone. Yeah, and also Scott, it doesn't really work except for on the page, I don't think, as an abbreviation that's meant to humiliate. I think, Angela, the camera could be on the stage with them. It could be that, you know, there's the film crew that's on the stage, it's sort of moving around with the interlocutor. I'm not sure, but yeah, sorry, bit involved, but just lots of thoughts really.
Oh, no worries, thank you. Rachael.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think the same about the camera. I think the person John was playing was sort of this presenter that was talking to the audience, maybe as if they were sort of the audience sitting at home watching this camera as well. If it's done well. I thought in general sort of a story of PTSD or something like that, with the knives and the gun, which is interesting. You put one of the characters playing hopscotch, and obviously it's the title of your play is a playground and stuff. I'm wondering sort of where else that kind of stuff comes in, whether it's more of a metaphor or whether we sort of are physically seeing these people sort of on this playground, and that's maybe where some of this stuff is kicking off, where they're meeting. I'm not sure, but it's very intriguing. I kind of also got the sort of Greek, I've written Greek chorus as well, or like an ensemble sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure about those. I think they could be tightened up as well. Yeah, when we very first started open the play, I was like, wow, what has Scott done? What has he done? But I guess if it is theatre, your audience might sort of know a hint of what he's done already from a programme or whatever. We tend to get a bit more of that information in theatre, don't we, than we do TV and film. Yeah, I think it can be. I think it's going to be exciting play. I feel like maybe we can cut a little bit in this first 10 pages. Perhaps make it a little quicker to that sort of that sort of starting an argument scene. Kind of. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Stuart.
Like others have said, I was kind of struggling to kind of work out what was going on and what this was about. Also, I was kind of trying to grapple with the different styles going on. And as some people have said, I wrote Greek chorus as well, actually, and almost I kind of wanted. I was kind of, because it was a mixture of styles, and you could see what you were trying to do here with the different styles of theatre, almost from the kind of very naturalistic beginning, kind of waking up and Scott's not there, and a sort of bedroom scene, and then the discussions later. But then you have the very kind of Brechtian, upfront, in your face audience interaction, and the interlocutor, direct audience, or almost. It's kind of mixing it all up, which is quite interesting, but it really needs to be really clear about each section for me, about what it's trying to do, because it, again, somebody else said, what are the characters wanting here, where's this going, and kind of being really clear about the purpose of each section. And echoing other people, really, what they've said about make it easy for the actors and the director to kind of know what you're going for here. So yeah, I think I've said everything I kind of need to say, but I think if you're going to have the different styles, then really go for it, bigger. If you see what I mean, make it really clear and bigger. Whether that's naturalistic or very surrealistic, and I think that could be quite interesting. Okay,
Thank you. Catherine.
Hello. Much the same as everybody else, really. The major thing was, as soon as they head to camera, that was very confusing. Mainly because in theatre you usually get told what set looks like, where they are, what's on the set, what props they've got. Are they in a bedroom? We're just assuming that because they're asleep, but this could be random. I was thinking PTSD as well, as Rachael said. Are we in Scott's head? Are the other characters real? This could all be down to lighting, which again isn't mentioned. We need to know this kind of stuff with theatre. You need to know what the lighting is, when it happens, what it's supposed to signify, why it's happening, what it's lighting up, what's in darkness. Are the other characters even on stage? Are they a multimedia thing? Is it a pre-recording? What's going on with that? We don't know. This could be loads of different stuff. I kept thinking Clockwork Orange. It did come across very Kubrick-y at points. I wasn't sure if all of it was supposed to be in his head and some of it was out of his head. It was a bit. I understand that you're going for the confusion, but it was a little bit. It was too confusing because there was no information there was no information on the instruction manual for the people doing the play. So there was no details and no set info. There was no character info. We didn't know where we were, who we were, why we were, what the lighting looked like. The song info as well needs to be there as well. If people don't, I knew the songs, but some people don't know them. They'll be singing the wrong songs and it won't come across correctly. It was interesting, but it needs more on the corporate side of things. It needs the admin sorting out, unfortunately. But it's interesting. But without knowing what you want us to know, it's difficult to give feedback because I'm not quite sure. I'm just coming up with all my own ideas. I could be completely off center here. But one thing I got very confused by was the spelling of hello, Hullo. That made me think that maybe she was supposed to be speaking in a transatlantic accent. I don't know. That didn't make any sense to me at all. But it was interesting with the whole, is it a PTSD thing? Is it Is he just suffering? Is it all a dream? Is it a nightmare? Is it all happening? Is it not happening? If bits of it are, we need to know. So it's difficult to come back with feedback really, because it's at the moment it's interesting but too confusing. It needs a lot of admin done to it, unfortunately. But it is very interesting. I like where it could possibly be going. It's 101 ways at the moment. But yeah, well done so far. But it needs tidying up a lot.
Okay, thank you. Erin.
I also thought Greek chorus as well. And that's like the echoing and the unison speaking. And that is what's interesting with like some of those this speeches are like done as, you know, character, and then some of them are action or direction. A lot of times if you're singing and stuff, it's usually like caps locks. It's all in caps and it'll say sung or whatever, so that's very clear. Also, if you're doing a play, a lot of the formatting with the title page, you have that page where it's the description and the age of the character and everything beforehand. A lot of times, like, that's how plays usually have all of the characters on one page with like their breakdowns. And time too before you start. Like Catherine said, you kind of give an idea of what the set looks like in that first paragraph, but you also know it's like present day or whatever. I wasn't sure what genre this was, or if it was supposed to be abstract. It was very fascinating. But everybody pretty much said like what I was thinking. And if I had another question, I think it left my brain. So
Thank you, Erin. John.
that's all I got.
Yeah, pretty much echo what everybody else, and likewise Greek chorus. I think that seemed to be what everybody was saying. I don't know why, but I couldn't shift cats. I really couldn't. I can see from puzzled faces that Scott was on the table, all the birds were scared. That just put cats in my head, and I couldn't shift it. And then the key coming out on the tongue and things like that, because I've had Murray pinch my glasses and then stand up and my glasses are underneath him where he's been cuddling them. So I just couldn't shift cats, and the names as well. Muzzy, you know, they all come across as cat's names in my head. It was just, I couldn't get past the metaphysical. I really couldn't. It was just cats. Yeah, I get the PTSD. I mean, from somebody who carries that joy around, I definitely got it. I could feel it. And as for the director TV thing, I've done stage where we've done that before and just had like a cardboard frame of like a TV screen, just a cardboard frame, and you stood talking to the audience through this frame as if you were talking direct to camera. So, you know, I mean, I've done that, but I kind of enjoyed it. I'm not sure. I was definitely confused as hell as to what was going on. You know, I mean, 1 minute I thought, oh, I've got this sauce, and then it was like, whoa, that was a bit left field. Where are we going now? So on my toes all the way through it. But I'll definitely finish reading it just to find out what the hell's going on. But well done. And just reiterating what everybody else says. If you're going to write a stage play, look at stage plays as to how they're written. And if you don't want to go around chasing modern or different style, just look at Shakespeare. That will tell you exactly how to write a play.
Cool. Thank you for that. Brilliant. Thank you so much for letting us read it. I hope this is helpful to you.
Thank you.